many contractions to run. I hope this thing picks up my voice okay. Well, I'm not doing it over, so. 5.617/29.
So that'll be from 29?
Yep, 29 online. All right,
Yeah, there's no 29, it goes up to 22.
algebra refresher.
Oh,
This is on your algebra refresher, I'm sorry. It's coming out of 5.6, but it's on your algebra refresher. All right, go ahead and work on that one. It's 8x cubed plus 20x squared minus 48x. Somebody want to tell me what the flag is on this one? The X at the end, that's the flag. In other words, what tells me what to do? That X at the end tells you to what?
put it in order.
FOCT. And then after you FOCT, you need to what? Try to, well, you can also factor out, what else? An 8, no, 4? Maybe? Dang old, maybe reverse FOIL or dang old shortcut. I need dang old calibrate. Gotta remind my mother at 10:30 to pick up my son. Gotta do that. Y'all don't let me forget, 10:30. What time is it right now?
10:19.
I better go ahead and tell her to do that. What if she's sober? No, she may not be sober. Yeah, she was sober. Guess she's going to group again. All right. Y'all good? Let's see what we got. Let's pull up the handy dandy whiteboard so it can crash again. They're supposed to be working on it. They're pretty much saying it's the connection between here and the board. That's what they're saying.
Did you do shortcut number 1 on this one?
I'm fixing to find out. I have no earthly idea. I haven't done the problem, so I'm fixing to see.
But you know, like the shortcut, how it's A plus B, and then C, and it's got squared outside, and then equals like A squared, and then.
Yeah, we're gonna look. Yeah, well,
No,
it's
no,
possible.
I'm just like explaining like, the 2AB in that shortcut, does it have to be an exponent in that one?
No, it does not.
Okay, and then, like, does the, like, B squared have to be an exponent one either?
You're gonna have to wait a minute. I'm a guy, remember? I'm trying to do 2 things at one time. Well, let's just look at it and see, because my brain's fixing to explode. 8x, this is not gonna 8x cubed plus 20x squared minus Wilson, could you turn the front light off? Please, Vanna, does that look okay? Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna factor out a what, 4x?
Yeah.
So, 4x, and that will leave what here, 2x squared? Now, we know it's not a shortcut, why? Because the first and the last term has to be perfect what?
Square.
And you know that because you know your perfect what? Your squares. Okay? So it's not a shortcut because that's not a perfect square.
So it
You
has to be
can't
first
take the
and
square,
last.
yeah, you can't take the square root of 2. Plus 5x minus, I have no idea, 12. And now, you know it's reverse FOIL unless it's prime. And I usually don't put a prime on there. So, the rules for 2 sets of parentheses, I'm gonna go ahead and put my 1x here and my 2x here, because there's no way you can mess up 2x squared unless you just really try. Because the only multiples of 2 is what? 1 and 2. The only multiples of 2 are 1 and 2. So that 12 is gonna be a problem, because there's not only 1 and 12, but there's 2 and 6, and what? 3 and 4. So, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. As a general rule, this is not all the time, but usually I start with the middle 2 numbers. Especially if this is a number that's in relation to these and these, this one and this one. In other words, if I had 102 here, then I might wanna go with the 12, because the 12 times another number is gonna make a bigger number than the 3 times another number. So if this number right here is way out of wampus with these 2 numbers, then chances are you'll use the 12. Like if this was a 72x, and this was a 2x and a 12x, that's out of wampus, out of balance. But if it's in balance, if it's within the range of these 2 numbers right here, the 2 and the 12, then chances are it's gonna be one of these 4. Because the 1 and the 2, the 1 and the 12 will work if this is a big number. You see what I'm saying? And it doesn't work all the time, you just have to play with it. But I usually go with the 3 and the 4. So I'm gonna put a little 3 here, and a 4 here. And I'm gonna draw my outside and my inside, because that's what makes up that term. And that'll be 4x and what? 6x. Well, 4x and 6x give us a 5. No, so you can hit undo. And I'm gonna switch it, 4 here, and 3 here. 3x and 8x. Well, 3x and 8x give us a 5x.
Yep.
I'm here.
You're not gonna come in?
I gotta run.
Okay, well, it'd be easier to walk.
How about a swift jog?
Okay, or drive, you could drive.
Don't burn as many calories.
Yeah, that's true. Bye-bye. Okay, so that would be a 4x, hey, that'll work, 8x and 3x. So, which one's gonna be positive, the 8x or the 3x? 8x, so that'd be a positive there, and what does this mean, like or unlike? And so your final answer is, I'm gonna trip over this thing before it's over here. 4x times x plus 4 times 2x minus 3. And that's your answer. That's a good test question. All right, who's got a question on that one? And what you're gonna find out, factoring is about the only material in algebra that is like piano playing, or music instrument, or singing. The more you do, the what? The better you get. You do 5 problems, you're gonna suck. You do 500, you're gonna start to understand it. 64/19. 64/19. Oh, we did this one. We already did this one, but we'll do it again. What shortcut you gonna use? Huh?
1 and 4 and 5. 5.
Number 5. And? Number 3. You can use either or. Remember we did this, last class, remember? And it's on the videos. I hope it is. I can't remember. Did we video last class?
And, cause I'm the one that asked this.
Okay. Why is it shortcut number 3 or shortcut number 5?
You can do the cube root of it, or you can just break it down and do the square root of it.
Heck, you did watch the video, didn't you? You're the one. You're the one, get it? No, I get it. You're the only one that watched it. Okay, go ahead and do this problem. Take the square root, take the cube root. And we'll do one on the board, and we'll do the other one on the whiteboard. I think you can see both of them. Come on in. Yeah, you should be able to see them.
How do you do the, I didn't watch your calculator video, how do you do the cube root?
Raise it to the 1/3 power. In other words, 729, and then caret symbol, and then 1/3, in parentheses, 1/3. I can't answer. Sorry about that.
Did you get your ringtones fixed?
Yeah, can't you tell? Now, what is the square root of 729?
27.
27. And what's the cube root of 729? Okay, so you can do shortcut number 3, or number 5. I want you to do it both ways. So go ahead and do them both ways. Because I want you to have both of them. When you have this one, then this one will be on your test, or one like it, where you have a perfect square and a perfect cube. Oh, that was my reminder to remind my mother to pick up my son. That's what it was. Pretty bad when you have to be reminded, but when you get up here teaching, when you get up here to start teaching, you forget about other things. Well, if you really care about it. So let's go ahead and start. Somebody give me one, shortcut 3. We'll do shortcut number 3 first. Using shortcut number 3. And shortcut number 3 says a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. Sorry about that. I'll have to turn it on silent. Alright, so the difference of two squares, so that means we have to take the square root of both of these terms. So v to the 6th minus 729, looks like this right here, see? No sneezing in class. Take the square root of both, that'll be A is equal to B, and B is equal to what? 27, Hubert, that's right, class. And now, if I've got A squared minus B squared, and I need A and B, what am I gonna do with that B and that 27? Plug it in, Hubert, that's right, class. B plus 27, B minus 27.
So that's when you take the cube root, that B turns into B.
Okay, I'm supposed to be a square, sorry. Square. There we go. Or, wait a minute, cube, sorry. Cube. There we go. Now, how did I know I was wrong? Well, at this point, you know you're gonna have to do something else, and I knew something was wrong, and that's why I went back and found it. I take the square root of 6, I was thinking it was b squared, I'm sorry. B to the 6, and the cube root of b to the 6 is what? B cubed.
It's when you do the cube root, that turns into B squared, right?
Yeah, that's, we're gonna do that over here, yeah. All right, now, what are these? Difference in sum of two cubes. Here's shortcut number 4, and here's shortcut number 5. Now, I'm not gonna go through and do what I did up here, but you're gonna do the same thing. What's the cube root of b cubed? B. And what's the cube root of 27? 3, Hubert. That's right, class. So that's gonna be b squared plus, or minus, sorry. Minus 3b plus 9. And then the same thing, except you're gonna switch the signs. B minus 3 times b squared plus 3b plus 9. And that's your answer. Now that is the answer if you use shortcut number 3 first. Now, if you don't use shortcut number 3 first, then you're gonna have a different form of the answer, but it's gonna be the same answer. So, shortcut number what first? What are we gonna use first if we don't use number 3 first? Number 5, because it's a minus symbol. So shortcut number 5 says a cubed minus b cubed is equal to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. And ours is b to the 6th minus 729. So take the square root, the cube root, because you want to undo those cubes to take the cube root of it. A is equal to what? B squared, and B is equal to what? 9? I'm asking y'all, is it 9? And then plug and chug into this. So that would be B squared minus 9 times B squared plus 9B plus 81. And then what is this? Shortcut number 3, B plus 3, B minus 3, B squared plus 9B plus 81. Now, are the answers the same? Yes. Now, we know the most simplified is this one. So if you want to stick with which ones to use, I would use shortcut number 5 first if you want it more simplified. But either answer is okay.
When you did the shortcut number 4 under a plus 1, and then shortcut number 5 under minus. Okay, I get that. Does that mean you only choose one of them to do to complete the problem? Or is it like, for the first one, you have to do shortcut number 5?
We have to do this one, and then you have to do this one. They're both shortcuts. So you have to, if there is a shortcut, you need to do it.
No, but I'm saying like, to get like the answer, that answer, and then that answer.
Oh, to make them look identical. You would multiply this trinomial times this trinomial, and you would get this, or vice versa. This should be v to the fourth. Yeah, because v squared, my bad, that should be v to the fourth. Because what is v squared? And that's supposed to be squared, I just might as well quit today. What is v squared times v squared? V to the fourth, and then you have your v minus 3, and you have your v plus 3. So that's the more simplified answer because you don't have as much to write.
But they're the same answer.
They're the same answer, yes. One's more simplified than the other. 1/3 against 6/9. Same type. But I will take both answers. And I think they take the one that's on the whiteboard. But I'm not saying they won't take the other one. But chances are, the one that they are writing the answer to is the one on the whiteboard. No, they actually did the first one. So evidently they do both. Because the last one we did, it was done that way. So they did it this way. Question: how is the whiteboard showing up on that video? It's showing up better than the projector, isn't it? Because it don't have that glare. It's better than nothing. All right. How about questions on this one? Now, if you don't know your perfect squares and perfect cubes by heart, and you don't know your shortcuts by heart, then you're going to be having problems. Right, Miss Wilson?
Yes. Cause I don't know.
You don't know them? I wasn't picking on you.
Oh, well.
I didn't know you didn't know them. All right, that's 64. Let's get rid of that one. And that's 64. We did that one. 64 again. Oops. All right, 71/21. 71/21. All right, I'll give y'all a second to write that one down. 24 c to the fourth plus 375 c z to the third. What's the flag here? There's two flags. What's one flag? Tell you what to do. Huh? Factor out a common term. Why? Because there's a lot of junk in there, right? That's one thing. All right, what's another flag to tell you what to do? It could be a possible what? Shortcut? Because it's only two what? Two terms. So you got two flags telling you what to do. (24) c to the fourth plus 375 c z to the third. I think we did one like this last time, didn't we? Okay, we'll do it again. It don't hurt to go over things twice. Make you feel good about yourself. So you don't have to be a Oompa Loompa. Orange face and a white neck. You ever seen some of those people? I think I showed y'all some, didn't I? Off of internet. I didn't. Y'all need to check it out. Look up Oompa Loompa. And yeah, they're gonna show you the Oompa Loompas on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but I'm talking about real Oompa Loompas. The people that, dang old orange, dang old white head. I meant to turn this down, that's what Okay, I'll start you off if you need starting off. You gotta factor out a common term. That's your first step. Now, how do you know to factor out a common term? Well, 24 and 375 are both pretty big numbers as far as factoring goes. So you know you're probably gonna factor out something, and with the variables, what have I told you? Always factor out the lowest what? exponent, Hubert, that's right, class. So, 24 c to the fourth plus 375 c z to the third. Well, we know we're gonna factor out a c, because c to the first is our lowest term, our lowest, exponent. 24 and 375, I have no idea what did we pull out last time? 3. Okay, so I'm gonna factor out a 3c. And that'll leave me with 8c to the third plus, somebody hit me at 125? 125 z to the third. Oh my gosh, look what we got. Shortcut number 4. How do you know that, Hubert? Well, you know your shortcuts. If you don't know them by heart, then you're gonna be slowed down a little bit. And then that's gonna give you 3c times 2c plus 5z times 4c squared, I can't see, minus, can't see through muddy water, 10cz, y'all check behind me, plus 25z squared. Does that check out?
And that's the answer?
Yep.
It should be.
Goodness, that's a lot.
Or you could just quit, throw your pencil down and discuss,
Oh, I did.
make it pop against the paper on your notebook. Y'all feel good about yourself? There it is.
Can we close this?
Can we close? Yeah, go ahead. Bring it down. Does that help? Does that make it a little bit better? I don't understand why they use those, you know, in hotel rooms, they give you 2 sets of, you know, you can do the transparent or the, I can't think of the word, but you know, the ones like that, and then they have the dark ones. I don't know why they didn't do that here. Maybe it might have helped if they would have asked teachers, but they never do, so. All right, y'all feel good?
Can you see it better?
I don't know. What do you think, Dana?
On that, you can see it perfect.
Okay. Thank you. All right, let's go to nerding. So we can get y'all discouraged. So y'all feel good, we gotta do something to take care of that. 71. I'm beginning to think this thing sends me 2 of each. 5-7, we're in 5-7, 33/6. 5-7, 33/6.
You went over that one last time.
I did?
It was my question, so
Okay.
you don't have to go over.
All right. Well, I need to get on to new questions, and if I did go over it last time, then I need to delete it. I don't know why it's showing up that I didn't know. You might have sent it twice. 5-7, 43/9. Did I do that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I deleted everything that I did. You didn't send it twice, did you? Well, that's the same
That's the
one.
same one.
It was sent by 2 different people though.
Yeah, but I thought I deleted them. Oh, well. Okay. 55/11, we did that one?
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember doing that one. I don't know, people. I know I deleted them. I thought I did.
When you're finding the solution, you said everything was equal to 0, right?
Yeah, you're finding the x-intercept is what you're doing. Y'all check, 59/13,
We did it.
we did it. 63/14. Yep, we did that one. Oh, no, I did that one with you after class.
Yeah.
Let's do this one. This one is 63, 5.7, 63/14. 63/14. Find the x-intercepts, or find the solutions. Find the x-intercepts.
Marked it wrong like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, she typed in the right answer and it marked it wrong, so I need to fix that. See me after class, I know you
It
wrote
did
me
that
an
to me
email.
too.
Huh?
When I was doing my homework.
Well, I intentionally had that to do it to you. Yeah, I called Force Compass and got them to mark yours wrong.
Yeah, but it did that to me too several times.
Well, see me after class, what'd you say? Pictures of what? No, just come see me. Anytime you have one that does, a problem that does that, whether it be on homework or tests, just see me before or after class and I'll fix it for you. Okay?
I say all my problems were wrong.
Huh? No, you have to show me what you did. And it does record your answer when you type it in, so you don't have to show me. I can just look, but if you have a problem with your work, always keep your work organized so you can show me what you've done, because that's all you've got. Because if you come up here and say, well, it wouldn't take my answer, well, I ain't got anything to prove that.
What I did a similar problem.
That's fine. And did it take that one?
Yeah.
Well, they have a lot of problems, I'm not gonna say they're perfect, but they do the best they can. Now, what you're trying to find is you're trying to find this guy right here and this guy right here. Now, in this class, you're doing it with factoring. And by the end of this class, I will teach you completing the square. I'm not gonna teach you quadratic formula because it's useless. Thank you.
Negative.
Okay, so I'm gonna teach completing the square. And completing the square will give you the x-intercepts on any problem. Factoring is only restricted to the factorable problems. So really, the best way to learn it is completing the square, period. But teachers don't teach it because half of them. How to do it, okay?
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
So, let's go ahead and do this by reverse FOIL and set it equal to 0. 0 is equal to 2x squared plus 7x minus 49. And 0 is equal to, I gotta get my hair cut tomorrow. 1x, 2x, and dang old 7 and 7. 9 and 7. No, that won't give you, did I write that
Yeah,
problem
it
down
does.
right?
It does. Cause
Oh,
14
that's-
minus 7 is 7.
14. Oh, I did 9. 7 times 2 is 9. Did y'all know that? 0 is equal to x plus 7 times 2x, and that would be a positive 7 and a minus 7, right? Y'all with me? So if this whole thing is equal to 0, then one of the factors have to be equal to 0. So we're gonna set each one of them equal to 0. And that's gonna give you negative 7. There's that one. And what's the other one? When you solve this, you're gonna get 7/2. Somebody check me. Which is what, 3.5? And that is that one right there. Remember, when you're solving a quadratic for a number, you're finding the x-intercepts.
What, would you not put the plus sign with the 2x plus 7? Like, when you factored it out?
No, the outside, the inside. This is a positive, So that means the biggest number of the outside and inside has to be positive. So what's the biggest one? 14. 14 is the biggest one, so it has to be positive. And this means what? Unlike, so if that's positive, this is what? Negative. Now, if you have a problem with this one, write it down. If you have a problem with it, giving you the right answer, and you typed in the right answer, just let me know, and I'll go in and fix it for you. There's no sense in you having to do it 4 or 5 times. I mean, you can do it 4 or 5 times and just not email me, or you can just email me, whichever one you wanna do. Everybody feel good? All right, next one. Now, this one is different, and I'm gonna pull it up because I think this is where we left off the other day. So I'm gonna do a couple of each, but the same, hopefully not the same numbers though. This one is as follows: 5x squared plus 12x minus 9. Go ahead and let's find those x-intercepts. And that'll give you a couple in your notes to do when you come across this type of problem. 0 is equal to 5x squared plus 12x minus 9. Now, you can't use the shortcuts because you can't take the square root of 5. So, zero is equal to parenthesis, can't mess up the 1 and the 5, so you can go ahead and put it down. And I'm gonna go with 3 and 3 because this is in relation to these two, so I'm not gonna use the 1 and the 9 because that'll give you, what's 9 times 12? 108. So, that's too big. So I'm gonna use the 3 and the 3. Outside and inside, this is positive, so which one's gonna be positive? The 15, so it needs to be positive. And then what does this mean? Unlike, so 0, and I'm gonna skip a step and just set each one equal to 0. X plus 3, and 0 is equal to 5x minus 3. X is equal to negative 3. And that's that guy. And 3/5.
The 0 in the answer.
Huh?
The 0 in the answer for that, is that?
You can write it either way, but
is
they
that
want it.
The
What
rise
they
and run
say,
issue?
whenever you write a y-intercept, it depends on who's grading it or who's looking at it. You can write it either way. You
I
can
kept
say,
getting it wrong on that computer, and the reason I was getting it wrong is because I wasn't
Zeros.
putting the zeros.
well, they want you to put the zeros, but I know what you're talking about if you put those two. So don't worry about it, I'll fix it but just go ahead and if you wanna go back and do similar question and put in the zeros, that's fine. But if you don't wanna do that, just let me know and I'll change it.
But on your text,
On the test, I'll fix it.
okay.
Don't worry about it. Anytime on a test that you get the right answer. Now, if the directions tell you to put it in coordinate form, then they're telling you to put the 0. So coordinate form for this would be -3, 0, and 3/5, 0. That is coordinate form right there. And if they say anything, there it is, type and ordered what?
There.
That's an ordered pair. Okay? If they just say find the x-intercepts, then you can put anything you want to. But they're telling you right here, ordered pair, they're telling you to put the 0 in over there. So that's what you would do. But if you did this in your work right here, and you put this and this, I would mark it right. And if you typed in these two up here, and there wasn't this right here, then I would take it. So, but I'm lenient, I'm pretty lenient. Does that help? Hopefully it does. That's two for you. Y'all got two now. So I try to give you 2 or 3 for each one. And, that's 2. So let's move on, see if there's anything else I can cover. That's 63 we just did. Okay, 6.1, moving along. 6.1, 13/2. I don't know if we've done it, but y'all tell me if we have. I think we have. Okay, we've done that one. Now, if y'all need me to go over it again, please speak up. Okay, this is 6.1, 19/4. I think we did this one too. No, I don't remember this one.
Yeah,
We
we
did?
did, yeah.
Okay.
Did you go over the?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to go over it? Be glad to. This is, sorry, 6.1, 19/4. And this one says, and I'm gonna go ahead and break it up, cause that's the way I tell students to do it. Whenever you have a conglomeration like this, especially if you're kinda, I don't know, wishy-washy on whether you know how to do it or not, if you're not confident, break it up into 3 problems. 162 over 12, that's the first part. And then u to the 9th over u to the 4th. And then y to the 4th over y squared. Now, do each one of those, simplify them. Use your exponential rules, and then put them back together. Now, this looks like it's divisible by 2 or 6 or something. What is it divisible by? 6. 6 3. Well, 6 will go, let's see, 3 times 6, that won't work. 2 times 6, yeah, 6 will go into that one. Yeah, I think 6 will go into both of them. 6 will go in here twice. 27. 27 over 2. I got a question about that? Check it and see. Now this one, you can use your exponential rules. I don't care which one you use. You can use your inverse rule, bring the 4 up. You can use your quotient rule, 9 minus 4. But whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to put it over 1. U to the 9 minus 4 over 1. Why am I putting it over 1? Because I've separated this thing into 3 parts, and when I get through, I've got to put it what? Back together. And if I start messing things up, then when I put it back together, I'm going to put it back together wrong. It's kind of like taking something apart on your car. Do you just want to throw them in 30 parts in a bowl, or do you want to lay them out? If it's the first time you've taken it off or taken it apart, lay the bolts out exactly the way that you put them in or took them out, you know. When I take a bearing apart on a wheel, I always get mixed up with the bearings. So what I do is, in the washers, I always take the nut off, and I lay it right here. And then I take the washers off and I lay them right above the nut. And then I take the bearing off and lay it above the washers. And that way, when I put the wheel back on, I'll put the stuff back on the way it was, the way way it come off, the way it's supposed to. You don't throw everything in a bowl, and then, okay, this looks like this is gonna be yours. Johnny's bicycle wheel falls off and he's in the ditch, because you don't do it that way.
So the reason you're doing the 9 by 4 is you're just taking,
And I'm simplifying using the push-up rule.
but you don't have to do what we were doing, like put it like, when you do the interact with parentheses outside, like on the 6 and then the U4. Like, okay.
I don't know what you're asking, what are you asking?
Okay,
exactly?
you remember, like back here, whenever we were factoring and.
That's reverse FOIL, this is a totally different problem, yeah. This is a rational exponent, that's why it's 6.1. Okay, so this is totally different. What you're doing is you're doing the old, just like, I think I did a video on this, when I took y'all back to algebra, and I said 2/4. And what do you do with 2/4? Well, you cancel, right? And that's equal to 1/2. Well, that's what you're doing here. We're canceling out as much as we can. Here, I canceled out a 6. Technically, this is what this is. And what are you doing to the 6? That's what we're doing. You can factor out a u to the 4th right here, and it'd be u to the 4th times u to the 9th, and what happens to the u to the 4th? So I don't care how you do it, but you're gonna get the same answer. All right, and this one is y to the 4 minus 2/1. And now you're ready to simplify and put it back together. You can't do anything else with this, so that would be 27/2 times y to the 5/1 times, I'm sorry, x, or u, whatever that is, u, and then y to the 2/1, and then what is your final answer? 27, y to the 5th, y to the 2nd, oh, whatever that bloody number is, what is it? U, I don't think just use x and y's, u over. Now you could write it 27/2, u to the 5th, y to the 2nd. You could write it like that. Be careful. Make sure that's in the middle. Don't put it down here, because you'll get it wrong. You can put it in the middle, or you can put it at the top, but don't put it anywhere below the middle. Okay?
So can you always break it into 3 parts? Or
Hmm?
does it have-
That's for somebody that's not confident with doing it. Now, if you're confident with doing it all in one step, if it ain't broke, huh? Don't fix it. If you get 10 out of 10 right, then you don't need to fix it. You get 9 out of 10 wrong, then your way doesn't work. Alright,
Now, you can't break it into 3 parts if they've got different exponents on the
yeah,
bottom.
you can't do that, they gotta be, yeah. You just have to put it with 1 over it or 1 under it. Alright, that's that one. I don't know why it's asking me all this, just delete it. Okay, that's the same one, isn't it? Yeah, 19/4, is that the same one?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, you okay with those?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. 22/5. Oh, we did this one. I remember, yeah, we did that one. Factor out a 6 and the 6 cancels. I'm not gonna go over that one because that one's easier than that one. That one's easy. Factor out a 6 on both the top and the bottom, and the 6/6 cancels. We did that one, and that's on the video, I think. I don't know if it's on the video or not.
Now, is there one where there's like different exponents on the top and bottom?
If there's different exponents on top and bottom, you can't do anything.
No, I'm saying, could we work out a problem? like
Yeah,
that?
I'm gonna try to, let's try to find one. If not, I'll pull one up. Or I'll make one up. 35/11, y'all tell me if we did it. We did that one? I think we ought to do that one again. And then I'll do one on the board with, different exponents. This one says 5r² plus 40R plus 80 over 25R squared minus 25R minus 500. Two trinomials, and what have I told you about trinomials? What are they? Unless you blank. They're blank unless you blank. What?
Hard unless.
They're worthless unless you factor. Yeah, that's it. Either reverse FOIL, or factor out a common term, or shortcuts. Do whatever you need to do, try to get them in terms of binomials, or two terms.
Could you do the same thing with this problem, break it into those three pieces?
Can't do it. Cause as we talked about last time, what are these? Y'all talking about single and married. These are married. Can't break them up. The only way you can break them up is with the reverse FOIL or with those three things I mentioned. Alright? So let's see how it looks. That top one I can factor out a 5. And that'll leave me with R squared plus 8R plus, I have no idea, what?
16.
Thank you. That looks like a shortcut. Over. Oh, I'm supposed to have a heart attack, ain't I? Get out of here! No, I'm just kidding. 25, factor out 25. You're a loser. R squared minus R, somebody, what is that? 16? Huh? 20. Plus 20 would be minus 20. Okay, you can use, shortcut number number two, one at the top. Because it's a trinomial, can't use a trinomial in shortcut number 3. And reverse FOIL, probably a -5 and a +4. Somebody help me out. So I believe, big old head in the way, 5R plus 4, R plus 4, quantity squared, over 25, R minus 5 times R plus 4. Now, you can simplify it further. There's two more things to simplify. Now, I'm gonna write everything out because I'm gonna show you the basics, and then you can just come up with your own shortcuts about factoring or cleaning it up, okay? 5 times R plus 4 times R plus 4 over 5 times 5 times R minus 5 times R plus 4. I expanded everything out. Now what can I do? I'm going to take my red marker, and what can I cancel? Well, 2 of the 5's can go out, and R plus 4. Now, you could also do that in different ways with your exponential laws. You can do it, marking out however you do it. I don't care. I'm showing you the Mickey Mouse basic model on how to factor, how to clean it up. Let's write everything out and then cancel factors of 1. And that will leave us with a final answer of R plus 4 over 5 times R minus 5. Now, some people ask, well, can I distribute the 5? Yes, I'll take either answer. I don't care. That, if you get it to that, I'm not going to worry about the last little bit. And some people say, well, which one's more simple? Well, how many times did you paper hit the pencil? Paper hit the pencil. How many times, I guarantee you if I tried to say that, I wouldn't be able to. Pencil hits the paper. That's a more simplified answer. So, and that depends on, let's just say that everybody writes a 4, like triangle 4, let's do that. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it takes 11 strokes to write that answer. Now let's see how long it takes to write it another way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So which one's more simple? What? What are you laughing at? I can't write.
That's the same either way.
Well, this one's 10 and this one's 11. So technically, this one is your more simplified.
Actually, you didn't count that last stroke with the top of 5. That would have been 11.
Well, I've been writing the 5s one stroke.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
5 isn't such an S. It's like, where did you get this from?
You won't come up here and write this. You won't be, get out of here. Miss Wilson, take care of her. Throw her out for me. She gonna make fun of my writing. All right, I don't care. This is trivial. You're doing 90% of what I want, 99% of what I want. This, I don't care about. Okay. Next one. And we're gonna do a little skip jump. We're gonna try to get to the other sections. Oh no, they unlogged me out. Sorry about that. couple out of each section. But I need to move along. Y squared plus 5y. Well, what flags tell you what to do there? Factor out a common term, and what is it? Maybe shortcut number 3 or 4 or 5 because it's only got 2 terms. And then the bottom is a reverse FOIL because you know you can't take the square root of 3 and you can't take the square root of 5.
How do you do shortcut on the top?
I say it may be, it may not be, I don't know. If you factor out a y, no, it's not gonna be a shortcut, I just looked at it.
And just at like 1 in the morning. I'm serious.
Yeah, I do that.
I had a guy in my 2 out of 5 class message me back at like 2:30 in the morning one time, and I was like, dude, why are you up? And he was like, sometimes I do my work late, and I was like, do you work 3rd shift or something? Like, this is ridiculous.
You're beginning to start college, you're gonna see a lot of ridiculous people. Just gonna
I
go
only
ahead and
have
tell you
one
that.
class that even considers me as a senior in high school.
Say again?
I only have one class that actually makes me a senior in high school.
They-
It's Spanish.
Well, that should be mandatory now, because you're gonna have to learn it. All right, that's gonna be a plus and a plus. So what can be canceled?
5 plus 5.
Is that eraser big enough? So the y plus 5, use my handy dandy red marker. How can you paint, why do they even have a color for an eraser? Why? No, on here, why would you have a color, because all it does is erase, it doesn't erase red. Why do they have a color for an eraser? It's a conspiracy. I'm gonna leave you with y over 3y plus 3. Now, you could factor out that 3 if you wanted to, but that's the more simplified version. Okay? And that answer up there is the answer that they gave, and that's why they got it wrong. Okay? All right, we're gonna move on.
I need a lot of help with 6.2.
Okay? Good.
You wanna hear something funny?
No, I don't wanna hear nothing, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I went ahead, I was trying to do section 6.1 and, or I was trying to finish my homework for 5.6, 5.7, 6.1, and 6.2 by today.
Hmm.
And I did 5.6, 5.7, I mean, not all in one day. And 6.1, and I went on and did 6.3 thinking I was doing 6.2. So when I realized what I had done, I went back to do 6.2 and,
Now you're lost.
lost.
Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and work on 6.2. That's what,
Yes, yes.
we're almost through with 6.1 anyway. And Ms. Doug, if you need me to go over those, I'll go over them, and Ms. Jones, I'll go over that
I
one.
told you it was 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Yes, you are right. All right, so this one is 6.2, 19/1. 6.2, 19/1. Now, before we start this one, I'm gonna go over to the board over here, and we're gonna go over a little bit of review in pre-algebra.
And I watched your video.
Good. And you still are confused? You're supposed to say, Hubert, your video helped me so much. Now you're gonna fail the class. because you didn't like the video.
I hope not.
All right, let's go over this one. 1/2 times 4/3.
Find common
Nope, not with multiplication, you don't.
Multiply across.
Multiply across and reduce, or reduce and multiply, whichever one you wanna do.
So
What?
if I'm gonna look at the video, the only thing I gotta do is look at 106.44 for the time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, thank you.
No, that's an hour,
Yeah,
an hour, yeah.
yeah, that's what I got, 106.
I'm gonna try to get as far as I can.
Alright, thank you.
Okay, all right, so you can do it two ways. You can either multiply across and reduce, that'd be 4/6, and then that'd be 2/3. That's multiply and reduce, or you can reduce and what? And multiply. Okay, now most of you, when possible, will do this. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, you're supposed to look for this one first, and then if you can't do this, you're supposed to do that. So, with this problem, and you could factor everything out if you wanted to. Factor everything out and cancel out. Just remember, you're gonna be timed, and that's gonna take more time. So, 9 a to the 8 over 7 cubed to the second times 49 cubed to the fifth over 81 a to the first. Now, just go ahead and start canceling. Now, I'm gonna take my red marker, and we're gonna cancel with red. We're just gonna cancel the numbers, okay? 9 will go into 9 one time. 9 will go into 81 how many times? Okay, everybody good? Now, 7 will go into 7 how many times? And 7 will go into 49. Is there any more numbers that will cancel?
No.
Now, what about the 9 into 49? Yes, you could do that. You're still gonna get the same answer. There's no law that says you have to do the 7 into 49. You can do the 9 into 49. No, you can't do 9 into 49, I'm sorry. Forget it. Forget I said that. I was thinking of 7. Okay, shut up. All right, now, I'm gonna take my blue marker, and we're gonna do the
Exponent?
yes, thank you. Exponents. I take medication. All right, a to the 8 and a to the first. What's gonna happen? Well, this a is gonna cancel. And what is it gonna make this one?
7.
This 2 is gonna cancel and make this 3. And you know, mark out Q. And now you just multiply. Now, the more organized you are with this, the easier it is to get the answer at the end. So 1 times 7 is what? 7. And then 1 times 9 is 9. And that's gonna be A. Let's see.
No, it's cubed.
8 7th. And Q to the 3rd. That's your final answer.
That seems pretty easy.
And that's number 1927/3. Okay? Shortcut. Shortcut, and what else? What else you gonna use? Reverse FOIL, Hubert. That's right, class. It's called interaction. trinomial. Trinomials tell you it's gonna be a shortcut, or it's gonna be reverse FOIL. What tells you it's not gonna be reverse FOIL? I mean, I'm so sorry, what tells you it's not gonna be a shortcut?
It's not like some.
It's not a square root, because you know your squares. Seven is not, you can't take the square root of 7. And it's prime. Dang, it's prime.
Only problem could, when it says like x squared over x squared, like the first one, could you just go ahead and mark out the x squared?
You can do whatever you want to, I don't mind that, just make sure you know what you're doing, okay? You can do as many shortcuts as you want to, you don't have to, when I show you to do things on here, I'm doing it from a standpoint of, I don't know how to do it. You do whatever you feel like you can do.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you could do that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna write everything out, that's x plus 1, using shortcut 3, x minus 1, over x times x, I'm gonna write everything out. Multiply 5 times x over x1, x7, and we need a positive 6, so that's gonna be a positive 7 and a minus 1. Okay, so there's everything you need. Now take our red pen and tell me what can cancel.
X minus 1
X minus 1 can cancel,
and X.
and an X. And now you just write it out. So what's up top? 5 times what?
X plus
5 times x plus 1 over x times x plus 7. And that's close enough for government work. If you wanted to multiply, now what's the only problem if you distribute? What's the only chance of a mix-up? What is it? Does anybody want to take a guess? And in other words, you got the right answer right here, but what could you do to make this problem wrong by going one more step? What's the most popular careless mistake here? Multiplying the 5x plus 1 and not getting 5x plus 5, but getting 5x plus what? 1. See, if you take it one more step, you may forget to multiply the 5 times both, and then you'll get the whole problem wrong. So, just, you ever heard don't erase your first answer? Well, if you get it to that point, just stop. Because I don't want you to get it wrong by a careless mistake.
Well, you really could mark out the x squared and the x on the first problem, because then you won't see that you have to cross out the x times 1.
Well, you could just mark this out right here and go 1 like that, put a 1 there, you could. You could do that.
No, but would they both cross out, because they're both the same answer?
There's 2 x's here. X times x is x squared, and then there's 5x here. That's 5 times x. That's not x times x times x times x times x. That's 5 times 1x. This is x times x. So it's only one of these cancel. And why doesn't this x cancel with this right here? Mrs. Ugg? But you said this
Because
last time.
those two are
They're married.
You know what I got told Friday night? It was the funniest thing.
What?
You're a single and I'm a single and 2 singles make a double and a double makes a couple. I thought it was so funny.
Where did you hear that?
I can't tell you that.
Okay. Okay.
But it was funny because he plays baseball, so it was like single.
Oh,
single,
you were talking
double,
about-
couple. It was so funny.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. She can't tell me where she heard it, but
It was at Waffle House.
what's wrong with that?
Because it was after a party.
Well,
And
you
the
got
party was
drunk
lame, so
and-
you,
I
no, I didn't
understand.
drink at all.
I
I'm
understand.
always the designated driver.
Well, when you see me at Waffle House, I'm probably on. That was a joke. That was a joke. My teacher talking about drinking. All right. Let's see, next one. That's, 27. That's 27. I'm gonna move on down. I would like to get to 6.3. Unless there's any, does that help you out?
Yes.
We do, I'd like to get to 6.3.
I make a lot of stupid mistakes, like you were just talking about, with like
Yep.
messing up my signs and not realizing it till I've been trying to solve this problem for 40 minutes before I realize what
When
I've
you
done.
get to one like that, go to something else, go do something else, go cut grass, kick the cat, go do something. Cause you can't spend a lot of time on one problem.
Feed the cat.
No, I love cats.
I do too.
We love
Kick the dog.
But I'm allergic to all of the animals,
Oh, that's
so
bad.
I like live off my allergy medicine.
6.3, 18.4. 6.3, 18.4. Okay, we gotta add and subtract. This one's subtraction. What do you gotta have? A common what? Denominator. So go ahead, this one you don't have to change, you just have to do it. But there's one little thing that'll get you.
always one little.
There's always one little thing. And this one little thing that we're fixing to go over was one of the biggest obstacles for me to jump over as a student. I could not figure out why we did that.
Keep, change.
You're thinking probability, you're thinking
Yeah.
matrices. Keep, change, keep, that's Kramer's rule. This one already has a common denominator, correct?
Yep.
So you don't have to do anything. All you gotta do is just combine the top. Now, this is what I suggest you do. Put everything over one denominator. And then write everything out up here. 5x plus 7 minus parentheses 4x minus 9. And this right here is what I had the hardest time with when I was in algebra. You are subtracting not one term, but you're subtracting this whole term right here. Everybody needs to understand that. You're not just subtracting the 4x, you're subtracting that whole term. And when you subtract a whole term in parentheses, you've got to distribute that negative throughout the parentheses. And that changes the sign on everything. Now, some people have to have that explanation. I had to have it about 500 times because I never would distribute the negative. I would just make it go with the 4x. And I would get so mad when a friend of mine, she would always help me with in college because I was so bad at math. She would tell me, okay, don't forget your -9. I'd get so mad. Why? You're subtracting the 4x. I wouldn't listen to her. You're subtracting the whole term. This says that you've got to take this minus this. You got to put both of them in parentheses technically, but this one has a positive one in front of it. And that's why you have to distribute that +1 right here and -1, which is right here. Now, the reason you don't see this is because 1 times 5 is multiplicative identity. 1 times anything is that thing, so that doesn't change. But this one does, because that negative, you distribute with not just the first term, but what? The second term, and that's why you change everything in the parentheses. And if that had been explained to me with that terrible teacher that I had, then I wouldn't have half the trouble I had in algebra. Just that one little step. And she probably did, but, you know, that little overhead going 50 miles an hour, I probably didn't pick it up. So, that's why. And now, we get our top 5x plus 7 minus 4x plus 9 over x minus 3. And now we combine like terms. 5x minus 4x is x. And I'm gonna put a 1 here just for those that like to see that 1 there. 5x minus 4x is 1x. You don't have to put the 1 there. And then what is positive 7 plus 9?
16.
Over? And that's your answer.
Can we do another one like that? One more minus one?
I wanna try to find one somebody else has sent, because when I hit similar exercise, it just regenerates the numbers. I'd like to try to find somebody else's. Go ahead and finish writing that down, and I'll find another one.
I'm trying to find a really complicated one.
No, I'm supposed to show you the easy ones, and then y'all, set y'all up for slaughter.
That's what Miss
No,
Cook did.
how I roll.
Let me show you how to do it. Oh, and by the way, let's add this in there, and now you do.
Do that on the test.
And you just look at it and you're
Who did
like,
you have?
what is this?
Who you talking about?
Miss Cook, Miss Smith.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, 21/5, which one was that one that we just did?
Number 4.
Okay, this is one like it probably. Let me look. Yeah. This is one. Okay, everybody got that one? All right. All right, try that one. And that's a minus symbol. Denominator's the same, so you don't have to convert. We're gonna convert in a minute, and that's when you all are gonna quit. Huh?
Which problem is that?
6.3, 21/5. 21/5. There's that -1 again. Because technically you got a parentheses around this guy too. But there's a +1 right there, because if there's nothing in front of something, it's understood to be a +1. If there was a 2 in front of it, then it would be 2w². If there's nothing in front of it, then it's 1w². Why ain't it 0? Well, if it was 0w², w² wouldn't even be there. All right, so that's gonna give us w² or w², depending on where you're from, minus 16w plus 63 over w minus 7. Now, at this point, I say to myself, that's 63. 7 times 9 is 63, so I think we might want to try to factor it. As a general rule, if you get a trinomial in your answer, try to factor it, because it may cancel with something. Now, what if I had a 5 right here? Would I need to factor this if this was a 5? No, because you couldn't cancel a 5 with anything in there if you factored it. Maybe y'all in the class. Okay? W. 7 and a 9. And we want a -9, right? And a -7. And W minus 7's cancel. Then you're left with W minus 9. And you don't have to put it in parentheses because it's by itself. (25/6). This must be the section where they're all the same denominators.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, get y'all warmed up for the kill, the slaughter, which is 6.5, or 6.4, whichever section this is.
Ooh, that's a plus sign. Yay.
Oh, no, let me change that to minus.
Don't do that.
It's just a 3, wouldn't be that bad.
Is that a plus sign?
Yep. One denominator. And then up here, x plus 1, what? Plus 3, Hubert, that's right, class. This one you don't have to do anything, because what's in front of both of them? Positive. There's a positive in front of this, and there's a positive in front of this. So, positive 1 multiplied by this is that. Positive 1 multiplied by 3 is positive 3. So nothing changes, you just add them together. What's 3 plus 1? And what do you do with that trinomial?
Factor.
Factor it. That'd be a 4 and a 1. Positive and a positive. What cancels?
4.
And what's left?
X plus 1.
1 over x plus 1. Remember that. Because there's nothing up here but a 1. This canceled to 1, this canceled to a 1. So it's 1 over x plus 1.
So even though those denominators are the same, you don't like add them together?
Well, let me ask you this.
I was just making sure.
No, I'm glad you asked that. You always go back to your basic math rules with fractions, always. Make an example. In other words, if you're doing a problem on a test and it's a big number times, or a big fraction times a big fraction, go back and say, okay, what rule do I use? And then go 1/2 times 3/4 and see what you use. That's what I always tell students to do. Always go back to basic math with the fractions. All right. Let's move on and see what happens. Well, before we move on, let's go back pre-algebra. Y'all ready? And I did this on the video also. 1 over x plus 3 over x squared. What do we do if we have two exponents, different exponents in the same base, different exponents in the denominator? What do? Do we take the smallest one, take the biggest one, put them together, or what? We talked about this.
Take the large one.
Take the largest one. So which one's larger?
Square.
X squared, so that's your common denominator. Now, what else did I tell you to do when you have a different denominator? After you find the common denominator, what do you do next? Convert the numerator. Y'all supposed to give me my rules back.
Did
but
he use the right word?
no,
Distribute?
no, you
I
didn't.
did.
So, I'm a failure. X will go into x squared how many times? Don't say once and don't say twice.
X times
X times. X times one is X. Now, if you don't know what I just did, you need to go over it again. We need to go over it again, because that's what you did back in basic math. How many times will two go into four? 2 times. 2 times whatever the numerator is the new numerator. Y'all done it. So don't say you haven't, because that would be a falsehood, untruth. X will go into x squared, x times. X times 1 is x. X squared will go into x squared 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. And people say, well, Hubert, why do you do that one? Well, I'm trying to show you the way the arrows go, if you're a little bit rusty. So now we have x plus 3 over what? Why can't I cancel this x squared with one of these x's?
Because the top is married.
Because the top is married, and the top is married if it has a minus in between or a plus in between. Because you have people that are together and they don't get along, and you have people that are together that do get along. The x plus 5, they get along, they're happy. X minus 5, they beat each other up. But they're still married. But I guarantee you, you're gonna be on a test, you're gonna remember that, and you're not gonna cancel that x squared with that x up there. Because these two guys are married. This guy's single. Anybody wanna take a guess at where I learned that? When I was a student, I came up with it. Let's try another one. That was pre-algebra. Let's move up to algebra 1. Let's make this a 7. And make this a 1 or 2. All right, do that one. Give you a couple of minutes to do that one. Those of you that's watching online can pause the video. Now, is this problem any different than the last problem we did? No, it's not a different. You still got same base and a different exponent. So you go with the lowest exponent or the highest exponent? The highest. And if you want to, you can just write it as one denominator. You don't have to write 2 denominators. But it does help to convert the numerators.
Okay, like in layman's terms, when you find the common denominator, multiply it by the bottom and the top.
You divide, how many times will this go into this? And that'd be x plus 1 times. And you take x plus 1 times this, and that'd be 7 times what?
X plus
X
one.
plus 1. Now, you're gonna distribute it, but I don't do that at one time. We're doing it by steps. And then this, one of them won't change, usually. One of them won't change. This one doesn't change, but I go through the steps anyway. X plus 1 quantity squared will go into x plus 1 quantity squared 1 time. 1 times 2 is 2. So that's the one that didn't change. Now, sometimes both of them will change, but if you go with the highest exponent, one of them will not change.
The way I remember it, she was like, whatever you multiply by the bottom, get the same number, you have to go to the top two, so. it's-
Yeah, that's, yeah, pretty much. Yes, ma'am.
How come when you take x plus one squared, multiply it by seven to get your numerator,
Mhm.
you didn't get seven times x plus one squared? I'm confused now.
Plus one
No,
is-
this goes into this, x plus one times. X plus one times. X plus one, times x plus one is x plus one squared.
Okay.
There's two of them right here. There's one of them right here. X plus one goes in here, x plus one times. X plus one times this is x seven times, and this would be seven x plus seven. Does that answer your question?
I'll work on it.
I mean, you could put two
Okay.
of them down here if you want to. Put x plus one times x plus one right here.
Uh-huh.
And put x plus one times x plus one right here. And that one works out. This one is only one, x plus one. Let me do this. Let me, just gonna do it right here. These two are the same thing.
Uh-huh.
You see it?
Yep.
This will go into this, how many times?
One time.
This, x plus
Got
one
it.
times.
Seems ahead.
2 times 3. Now, let me show you this, and I always show students, when I get that question, this is what I do. 2/3 plus 1/2. Now, a lot of them say, well, common denominator is 6. Well, technically you're right, but if you really wanna see the mechanics of the math, this is what you do. That's the common denominator. How many times will this go into this? We'll cover that term up. How many times? 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. How many times will this go into this? 3 times. 3 times 1 is 3. You see what I'm doing there? Same thing here. How many times will this go into this? X plus 1 times. X plus 1 times 7 is x plus 1. You'll see it better when we do 2 trinomials that are reverse FOIL. You'll see it better there. The reason you don't see it well here is because you're thinking 1 time x plus 1, and that's why you're getting it mixed up.
Okay.
Say again?
Don't you just hate being out of school for so long?
1,000 years. That's what some people say. It's been 100 years since I took math. 100 years. Mhm.
No, but like without, doing it every single day.
I know.
And then jumping back into it. Put it in my face.
I'm just gonna be glad after my sophomore year of college, I'll be done with math forever.
You don't know, you might change major. I changed my major 3 times. My daughter has already changed her major like 6 times. She hasn't even started college yet.
I've known what I wanted to do there for like 4 years now.
Okay, well, you stick with it. All right, what can we do there?
The -2.
7x minus 5, or 7x plus 5, and you can't do anything with either one of those. So your final answer is 7x plus 5 over x plus 1 quantity squared. All right, now, while you're writing that one down, let's go over here and let's do one like this, where the 2 denominators are what? What are those 2 denominators? Not different, but yeah, different,
Prime.
but what?
Prime?
Prime, they're prime. When you put 2 numbers prime, if you got 2 denominators prime, the only thing you can do is what? Put them together. So, let's do one like that. How about, I'm gonna leave that one on the board, how about one over x minus two plus five over x minus three. Do that one. Just put them side by side, because you can't do anything else. Do not do the trinomial, do not do FOIL, do not do that, because that'll just make it difficult. Just like you did here, look at this one. And do that one the same way. You just put them side by side. And then, how many times will this go into this, cover up the term, just like we did? Three will go into this, how many times? Two, so two times this. Two will go into this, how many times?
Three.
Three times one is, do that over there. Mrs. Ugg, what time is class over?
12:20.
Okay, about 12:10, make sure I take the roll, okay? So the common denominator is x minus two times what?
X minus three.
And I'm gonna write it again. Now, you don't have to, you could write one big one and make one big fraction bar, but I don't do that till everybody gets accustomed to doing it like this. Okay, how many times will this go into this? Cover it up, how many times? X minus three times one. How many times will this go into this?
X minus two.
X minus two times, 5 times x minus two. Now you can put everything over one, but now you gotta do these two. You gotta do your distributive law with combined like terms. But it's all gonna be over what?
X minus two, X minus three.
Yep, just like over there. This is 7 over 2 times 3, which is 7 over what? But this, in this case, you're never gonna be able to put these two together unless you make a trinomial, and that's it. After you make the trinomial, there's nothing else you can do. So what does that give us right here? X minus 3, yeah, because 1 doesn't do what? Doesn't change anything. Now do 5, that'd be 5x minus what? 6x minus 13 over common denominator. And when I make that squiggly line, that's a Hubertism. That means all this. I don't like writing over and over and over, I'm sorry. So you need to write 6x minus 13 over x minus 2 times x minus 3. That's the final answer. But again, you go back to your rules of basic math. If you have two numbers, two denominators that are nothing in common, nothing, or they're prime, you just multiply them together. If you have two that are the same base, that have the same multiples, then you use the higher. 2 and 4. If you have two denominators, 2 and 4, what's the common denominator?
8.
4. Do not multiply them together.
Will a problem like this be on our test?
Oh, yeah.
Can we do another one?
No.
Okay.
I'm just supposed to show y'all the easy one. I'm gonna pull up some problems here in just a minute.
The easier ones are how you get used to doing it so you can do the hard ones. I actually click. If you keep going, I'll lose it. So-
Okay, we'll do another.
Okay, on that one, when you got the x minus 3 plus x 5x minus 10. Okay. Did you go ahead and factor out the 1 into the 3s and then the 5 into the x's? And that's how you got?
I multiplied the 1 times this
Yeah.
and 5 times this.
Okay.
The only thing you work with is the numerator. You don't do anything with the denominator. 6.4. guess that's the different denominator, somebody, yeah, there we go. Now, this is the actual section that I'm on right now. So for those of you online, this is 6.4, this is the first time I'm covering 6.4. 6.3 is not that big of a deal, you're not gonna have very many 6.3s on the test. This is what you're gonna have on the test. 6.4 is gonna dominate the test, okay? So if you wanna know what 80% of the test is gonna be made up of, here it is. 6.4, 13/3. 6.4, no, not, that's a plus, but it ain't gonna be that easy. Whatever I said, what'd I say, 16/3? 13/3. Go ahead and work that one. So y plus 3 over 8 plus y minus 1 over 12. You can use your little chart that I showed you to find your common denominator. Don't multiply 8 times 12 together, because you're just gonna make extra work for yourself. Do your little handy dandy chart that I showed you the other day. And you wasn't here, I'm sorry. Eight, 12, 2, 3, 5, I done forgot my numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and sometimes 13. 2 will go in there 4 times and 6 times, 2 will go in there 2 times and 3 times, 2, 1, bring that down, and 3, 1, and 1, there's our ones, that's what we want, 2 ones. So, what's 3 times 8? 24 is your common denominator.
My instructor last semester did not teach this at all. He did not go over this. It was a review, and you should have already known it, and I'm just here to review it.
No.
And hope you do well.
No.
It was that way. He actually said.
Who was it?
Frederick Burkett. He actually made a comment, this is the way I teach. If you don't understand what I teach, you need to get outside resources. It's the only way I know how to teach it. It was horrible.
It's kind of how good.
Well,
He
did you
started
go-
out with 30 and ended up with like 13.
Did you go to Rate My Professor?
He did,
Good.
after you told us about it.
Good. All right. So we know our common denominator is 24, so we just put a 24 down there. How many times will 8 go into 24? 3 times y plus 3 is 3 times y plus 3. 12 will go into 24, how many times? 2 times, so that'd be 2 times y minus 1. Now I distribute. If y'all start trying to skip steps and do steps 2 and 3 together, that's where you're gonna mess up. So 3y plus what? Plus 2y minus what?
2.
Over the common denominator. Okay, 24. Over 24. And 3y plus 2y is, and 9 minus 2
Probably 7.
over 24. And that's your answer. Piece of cake.
Ding.
Ding! Got a light on. Dang old light bulb. Alright, let's try another. Let's get you built up and then what? Kick you in the stomach. Let's get you built up, confident, and then take it away from you.
Don't forget to take roll.
Pretty much.
Is it time to take roll?
Yeah.
Don't forget the girl that left the door.
I know. that one, 6.4 what?
Number three.
17. Okay, let's do this one. 6.417/4. All right, try that one. That's, 2a minus 1 over 3a to the 4th plus 4a plus 1 over 9a cubed. And I'll take the roll while y'all are working on that. Those of you online, please hit the pause button.
Wish I had a pause button, that way I wouldn't have to waste so much time on the video. But every time you hit the stop button, it makes another video.
All right. 2 minutes struggle.
I have a question.
No, I'm gonna fall off the clock right now.
When you have your exponents and you have to get them equal, are you multiplying them or adding them?
Okay, what now, say it one more time?
When you have the exponents and they're different and you have to make them equal, are you gonna like multiply a to the 4th times?
No, how many times, what do you need to add to a to the 4th to get a to the 7th? A to the what? 3rd. That's what you're doing, yeah. Okay, select, and everybody's here. All right, Ms. Black was here. Ms. Bozeman is here. Ms. Cowart is here. Mr. Gray, you're here. Charlie, she didn't make it. She has, I think she has heart issues. Ms. Holly?
Here.
Okay, I'm remembering y'all slowly. Ms. Jones?
Here.
Where are you? Okay. Mr. Keller is here. Mr. Mahaney? I know where he is. Ms. Rose is here. Mr. Sabatcall-Cool is here. Mr. Skipper is here. Ms. Wilson was here. Ms. Love is
What's,
Okay.
the exponent on the 9, underneath the,
here. The common denominator is 9a to the 4th. That's the common denominator.
no, but before you start simplifying, what is it?
She's talking about the problem, 4a plus 1 over 9, what?
9a cubed.
Well, you don't have to change it because that's the one, well, you have to multiply it by a to the 1st, so that'd be a, the numerator would be a times 4a plus 1, and then you distribute that a. If that's what you're asking.
How would the common denominator be a to the 4th when you have,
You always
Use
pick
your
the
lowest.
higher. But go ahead and ask your question. What
no, that was it.
You always use the highest exponent. And the 9 and the 3, what's the common denominator of 9 and 3?
9.
Mhm. 27. Oh, me. Do not tell me it did, it's just done. But they told me what to do. Hold on. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm talking to a machine. 2A, okay, I don't know, okay, I'll do it. 2A minus 1 over 3A to the 4th plus 4A plus 1 over 9A cubed. Common denominator, we said, is 9A to the 4th. How many times does 3 go into 9? 3 times, and then A to the 4th, so it'd be 3 times 2A minus 1. 9 will go into 9 one time. A to the 3rd will go into A to the 4th. How many times? A times 4A plus 1.
Why wouldn't you just,
We're doing the same thing we've been doing. You're starting to think. What did we do over here? How many times will this go into this? Cover up the term. X minus 3 times 1. How many times will this go into this? X minus 2 times this. You do that over and over and over and over. You do not do anything different. You keep doing that over and over and over.
but why 9A, why wouldn't you do 3A to 4? Cause I know 9's a bigger number, but A to the race is.
What are you asking? Why didn't we, what?
Okay, cause I know the larger exponent's A to the 4th,
Mhm.
I got that. But why are you doing 9? Why wouldn't you do?
Because 9 goes into 9 and 3 goes into 9.
Is the common.
Has to be the common. It cannot be the lower. Most of the time, your common denominator is gonna be the higher of the two. So 3 and 9 is 9. A to the 4th, A to the 3rd, say to the 4th. Okay? All right, what does that give us? It gives us 6A minus 3
Over 9B.
plus 4A squared, that's a A, I know it don't look like an A. 4A squared plus what? A. Over 9A to the 4th. What's 6A plus A? Well,
7A.
yeah, 4A squared plus 7A minus 3 over 9A to the 4th. Now, you can try to break this up. I'm not gonna, at this point, y'all can try to keep going, see if that a factor. I'm not gonna worry about that right now because it's toward the end of class, and I wanna try to do one more problem. But the only thing you can do here, and you're still not gonna be able to cancel anything out with this, because all this is married. Now, if you could factor out an A, or a 7, or a 9 up here, then you could knock one of these out, but you can't. I don't know. Somebody check it. I don't know if it's, be 1 and 4, no. 4 times 3, no. 2 and 2. 2 times 3, no, I don't think it's factored. So that's probably your final answer. We could type it in here and see right quick. What time is it, Ms. Doug?
12:18.
Oh, shoot, I ain't gonna have time to do another problem. But what I will do is I will put some more reverse, I'll put more 5.4? I'm gonna put 5.4 and 6.5 and 6.4 and 6.5. I'll do a follow-up video in the morning and do some more of these, okay? Is that good? Is that fair? And here's your answer on this one. You can get rid of the pop-up. See, it's not factorable. They got the same thing. All right, y'all have a good day, and I will follow up with a video tomorrow. It'll be called 6.4, 6.5 follow-up, or something like that. Tell your daddy to get off the hip and get you a computer.